You are tuned in to On Air with Chris Shanafelt.
Welcome back on air as we continue our Player Spotlight series with the 2020 NFL Draft Class. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, and I'm now joined by Reggie Walker, the defensive end / outside linebacker out of Kansas State University. Reggie, I appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. How's everything going? Can you believe that your time as a collegiate athlete has come and gone, and now here you are preparing for the 2020 NFL Draft?
Yeah, man, it's been going pretty good. But yeah, man, the time does fly, and I'm just grateful to be here in this time, in this moment.
Yeah, and Reggie, looking at your career, I mean, you're one of the best pass rushers really in all the country over the past 3, 4, 5 years. Since you're at Kansas State, you piled up 35 tackles for loss, 18 sacks, which is 10th best all time, to go with 9 forced fumbles, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the most by a Kansas State Wildcat. Looking back, how would you put into words the success that you've had throughout your career at Kansas State?
Oh, man, it's really a big blessing, man. Since my time there, it was one of the best decisions of my life to go to Kansas State, and the success I had when I was there, it was just amazing, and I can't really describe it in words. I'm just really grateful for the people that was around me and the coaching staff that gave me the opportunity.
And looking at your journey to Kansas State, Reggie, coming out of high school, you're from Hammond, Louisiana. That's quite a bit of ways from Manhattan, Kansas. What was the recruiting process like for you, and how did you decide that Kansas State would be the best fit for you?
It was pretty good. I mean, I had a few offers, had over 16 offers, but I feel like the reason that Kansas State was for me because Blake Fowler, he was my D-line coach there, and he used to really check in on me, make sure I was straight. He really just made me feel like family, and they really preached that a lot at Kansas State, and I respect that a lot, and I think that's why he was really one of the biggest parts of me going, other than my dad passing.
You would redshirt in 2015, and by the time 2016 rolled around, not only did you play in all 13 games, Reggie, but you started in 11 of those 13. You racked up 11.5 tackles for loss to go with 6.5 sacks. That season, you were named Big 12 Freshman Defensive Player of the Year. How were you able to come in and dominate from the get-go?
Man, I really had a lot of help. Jordan really was a really good teacher, and having someone like that on the other end, that's such a dominant player. Having me like a speedy guy on the other side, coming in, new to the game, I really enjoyed that. A lot of people didn't know what I could do, and that was like my perfect opportunity to show them, what kids can come out and do.
Yeah, you really put yourself on the radar that season, and I'm sure you noticed years after teams beginning to kind of game plan around you, or you're a focal point on opposing teams' scouting reports after that season, because since then you've kind of you've wreaked havoc in the Big 12 since. Obviously, you spent your first 4 years at Kansas State with legendary head coach Bill Snyder, one of the best college football coaches of all time. I know he was more of an offensive-minded coach, Reggie, but at the end of the day, he was your head coach. What was it like to be around and learn from somebody of that high in stature?
Oh, man, I love Coach Snyder to this day. He still, helps me out, call me, and stuff like that. I feel like one of the biggest things, he helped me out was, becoming a man. He loves the game of football. He was a teacher of the game of football, but he wants you to be a way better man. And I feel like he got that, especially that class of 2015.
Again, we're chatting with Reggie Walker. He's the 2020 NFL Draft prospect, defensive end, outside linebacker, pass rusher out of Kansas State. And Reggie, this past season as a senior, you dealt with a high ankle sprain for all, if not certainly most of the season. They say high ankle sprains could be worse than actual broken bone in the ankle at times. How were you able to tough it out and still play in every game this past season? If I'm not mistaken, you've only missed one game in your 4 years at Kansas State. So to say that you were reliable and you were durable, that would certainly be an understatement. How were you able to suit up in every game in 2019 despite battling this high ankle sprain? And how would you say that affected your play?
Yeah, that was this high ankle sprain this year became it was like the beginning of the camp or whatever, but it was probably one of the worst things I've been through injury wise. I don't think that like it really held me back. But I knew I had to get out there and play with my teammates. Being the captain this year, I just felt like the guys really looked up to me, and just me being on the field, just having, that force on the field, that, intensity, just that talk, just really helped my team out. Just gave them a lot more confidence, and I'd rather be out there than sitting on the bench, trying to baby it. I just try to do what I can do and grit it out.
Yeah, and I don't bring that up to try and make an excuse or anything, Reggie, but we've seen what you're able to do last month after some rest, after getting that thing healed up. Last month you had an opportunity to play in the Hula Bowl, a college football all-star game in Hawaii, and you certainly made the most of that game, Reggie. Your presence was felt. You were named MVP as you racked up 3.5 sacks and a forced fumble. How was your ankle feeling in that game? How's your ankle feeling nowadays as you train and prepare for your pro day? And how important was it for you to make your presence known going up against some of the top prospects in the country?
Man, I love that. That was actually, like I said, probably one of the first time my ankle was healed this whole season. And, man, I was just saying, man, that's what a real Reggie Walker can do. Like I can make my presence felt at any time. I can really change the game. And just be able to go out there and show that, really open up a lot of team eyes. Like, oh, yeah, he was really hurt. I'm really glad I got that experience to go out there. It was really a blessing.
Yeah, and I'm sure just your performance in that game answered a lot of questions. Kind of just showing exactly who you can be when healthy, and not when you're 100%. I'm sure you weren't 100% in that game, but certainly when you're up to strength, and it certainly showed what you're capable of. Now, Reggie, whether it was at the Hula Bowl or when they would travel to Manhattan, Kansas, what has your interactions been like with NFL scouts? Have you been able to meet with any teams yet up to this point? How do you think they view you as a pro prospect?
At the Hula Bowl, I actually met with a few teams. Actually, I'm excited. I'm glad, get the opportunity to go to pro day and show up, show out. And I feel like once they see me, like run and stuff like that, they'll be better. Because, like you said, like I was hurt, and a lot of teams I guess it kind of felt how healthy, I am up to strength. A lot of teams be like, yeah, this guy's an eye opener. Like he can come in and he can do what he needs to do.
And Reggie, as I've prepared for this interview, something that really caught my eye, something that opened my eyes was I read that you like to study Khalil Mack. You guys certainly have the same build. You're 6'2", 250. Certainly can't go wrong with trying to emulate one of the best pass rushers in the game. But explain what it is about Khalil Mack's game that you personally are so impressed about.
I love it, like the combination of speed and strength. Like I feel like that fits me so well. A lot of guys don't think I'm as strong. They think I'm like really cool. But the strength is like one of the biggest things, and I love to come in, and like fake somebody out. They hit them with like a power move, and like I feel like man, Khalil Mack does that the best. That's why I like to really study him. Because as you said, we are like the same kind of build.
Right. And again, 6'2", 250. Now, Reggie, we're based out of Chicago. The Bears could certainly look for another pass rusher in this year's draft, especially if they decide to let Leonard Floyd walk in free agency. Even if they bring Floyd back, I don't think that should stop them from adding more depth to the defensive line. I know you would like to play for any of the 32 NFL organizations out there that give you the opportunity, Reggie, but what would it be like for you to play for a historic franchise like the Bears and reunite with your former college teammate, of course, Duke Shelley, who they drafted in the 6th round last year, and of course, what would it be like playing opposite side of a player that you like to model your game after in Khalil Mack?
Oh, man, it'll be really great. Me and Duke Shelley, we always talk about it, especially like last year when he was training and stuff, he was really, my forward when he got drafted by the Bears. He was like, man, I'm in a perfect situation. He loved it out there, and it would just be a blessing to go out there, see him again and talk with Cody Whitehair. He was actually there when I was there, and he's actually really cool guy that I looked up to when I was a freshman. So it would be really good to get to see those guys.
That's right. I thought about Duke Shelley, but I didn't even think about Cody Whitehair, one of the top offensive linemen in the NFL. Obviously, he was playing tackle, if I'm not mistaken, there at Kansas State. Now he's transitioned into center and guard. But, yeah, one of the top offensive linemen right there as well, one of your former teammates here in Chicago. Have you been able to speak with any of those guys? I know you said you're pretty close with Duke Shelley. Has he given you any advice as you now look to, I don't know if the right words are follow his footsteps, but as now you look to achieve the same goals that he did around this time last year?
Yeah, we actually talked maybe a few weeks ago. He was just saying, actually he was battling an injury before pro day too. He was like, man, keep your head down. Like, man, I know what you can do. We played together, and I know like what type of person, that type of dog that's in you. And he was like, man, keep your head down and keep grinding, and everything's gonna work out. So he did tell me that.
We've brought up a couple of pretty talented players in Duke Shelley and Cody Whitehair. Speaking of talented players, Reggie, who would you say is the best offensive lineman that you've gone up against over the years? And then who would you say is the best quarterback you've played against over the past couple of years? I know playing in the Big 12, you've gone up against some really good passers over the years. Actually, right now I'm looking at a picture of you sacking and getting to former Texas Tech quarterback, now Super Bowl winner, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, actually, that's what I was actually going to say. Patrick Mahomes is probably one of the best quarterbacks we've faced, man. That was probably one of the best games to ever be in and play in Manhattan, Kansas, against Texas Tech, in Manhattan that night. And that's how I knew, that guy was going to be real great. But best offensive tackle is probably Orlando Brown. He was actually a pretty good tackle when we played him for Oklahoma.
All right. Certainly cannot go wrong with those guys right there. And this is NFL Combine week, and I seen an article, earlier in the week stating how Orlando Brown didn't have the greatest combine. It was actually one of the worst combines of all time, but now here he is playing at a Pro Bowl level in the NFL. Again, we're chatting with Reggie Walker, 2020 NFL draft prospect, defensive end, outside linebacker out of Kansas State University. And a few more questions before I let you go, Reggie. For those not familiar with your game, how would you describe it? What are some of the strengths that you bring as a pass rusher?
Man, I'm a ball hog, man. That's what I like to call myself. I really like to get out to that pass and have a knack for that ball. Try to find that ball wherever it's at, poke it out. Whatever a team need me to do, I can do. I just feel like I bring a lot to the table, especially in my position. I can just really be a big game changer, and that's what I really pride myself on, trying to change the game at any moment, at any time.
And, of course, the biggest job interview of your life up to this point, Reggie, is coming up, and that's the Kansas State Pro Day. Do you mind sharing with us where you're training at for your Pro Day and what some of the numbers are that you have in mind that you'd like to reach come Pro Day?
I'm actually out in Pensacola, Florida at Exos. We've been doing a really good job down here, but my numbers are I'm looking to run at least a 4.6 in my 40. At least 7 flat for 3. My L drill, the 5.10 5, at least 4.2. I really haven't done much vertical, but I really a 9.10 in my broad. That's pretty my range right there for those numbers.
And I gotta think that'll only help your stock if you're able to reach those goals, especially for somebody of your stature and somebody that plays the position that you do, Reggie. I think those are some really good numbers that would be that you're certainly capable of putting up. What are your expectations come draft day, Reggie? I mean, most times I'm talking to guys that are in the day 3 range that go undrafted. Sometimes I'll talk to a day 1, day 2 prospect. And with you, Reggie, I don't really know. I think there's a legit chance that we could see your name get called maybe sometime on day 2. Do you have an expectation as to where you might go in the draft, or does it not really matter to you just as long as you get that opportunity?
Man, I really want that opportunity, but it'll be really lovely to see my name go across day 2. I think, after my pro day, I'm going to open up a lot of team eyes for these guys. I feel like they don't really know what I bring to the table, and once they see me, they're going to, have to open up their eyes like, man, this cat right here can really go get it and really be a game changer for us. So I'm really hoping that, my name can go across day 2, day 3. As long as I get that opportunity, I'm going to make the best of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think your pro day will certainly answer a lot of questions. I mean, you already began answering a lot of questions in the All-Star game circuit at the Hula Bowl, winning MVP of that game, 3.5 sacks and a forced fumble. What about your repertoire, Reggie, your pass rush repertoire? What are some of your favorite moves that you like to put on offensive linemen to get to the quarterback?
I just really what the offensive lineman gives me. It depends on what type of setter he is. And, I really change my game plan around those guys. But my favorite move is probably I can really just speed the long arm. My arm's actually pretty long, so it really kind of give me a little distance with my speed and power. And I really like that a lot.
Absolutely, and you see it all the time in your highlights, in your film. One last question for you, Reggie. It's a question I end all my prospect interviews with, and that is, let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers. They're listening to this very interview. Why should they want the pass rush specialist out of Kansas State University, Reggie Walker, a part of their team?
Oh, man, because I'm a guy, that's going to do things right, show up on time, be that guy, really no trouble, never got in trouble. And when I get there, I'm going to know my role, do my role best as my ability, and get after that passion, change some game.
Hey, that's all that needs to be said. Reggie, I really appreciate your time. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. Congratulations on all the success. I've actually been following your career dating back to your standout freshman year in which you won Conference Defensive Rookie of the Year. So congratulations on all the success, man. It's been a lot of fun watching you dominate in the Big 12, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these next couple of months have in store for you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.